What's going on? It's your boy Miles. Good morning, everybody. It's me and my son Quan. What's going on? We are out here about to harvest this morning. I'm driving and laughing, but I got somebody else filming for me, so we should be all right. We're gonna have a good time, man. I'm so glad that y'all stuck with us this whole time. Y'all seen the entire progression. You know what I'm saying? Y'all seen everything that we've done. Well, now we still ain't done yet. The race ain't over yet. We gotta cross the finish line. And you know what they say? They say that most tightrope walkers fall off in the last 3 steps. Tightrope walkers that walk across, you know, without nets underneath them, they usually die within the last 3 steps of hitting the other podium. So what does that say? You gotta see the thing all the way out. You know what I'm saying? You gotta see the thing all the way through. You can't wait to the last couple steps and then, look. He said, that's comedy how he's just holding the bud up in the line. And we got, yeah, we got to send that to the testing facilities. So I'm gonna have to take that right into the post office and send it off to the testing facilities. So these pre-rolls I've seen are mostly a gram pre-roll, but they are going from $10 to $15 a pound, which is crazy. So we'll be selling pounds through the company out of Colorado. We'll be selling pre-rolls through the company out of Colorado. So be on the lookout for it, man. So Quan, how's your experience been so far with the prep work? Been all right?
It's actually been a lot more enjoyable than some people would think. You know, you get to talk, have a good time, look at the plants, see how they grew, like see how much hard work you put in. When we started planting them or whatever, once you like actually put the plants in the ground, you have to tend to the land, you have to make sure they're in there right, you have to take care of them like, you know what I'm saying, like they're very delicate because they are, and if they don't grow right, it's pretty much your fault if you don't put them in the ground right. So you really have to focus and take your time putting them in there, and when you come back for harvest and see that your hard work actually paid off, that every single little intricate thing you focus on actually paid off, it's a very, like, I guess you could say a beautiful thing to see. Cause
rewarding.
It's very rewarding, yeah. Because, like, you see that, okay, I did put that extra time into this particular plant. I'm glad it grew to the size it grew. Or I'm glad it got this many trichomes, blah, blah, blah. Well, trichomes really come down to the genotype or whatever. Or the
phenotype. Yeah, phenotype.
But the size of it usually comes down to how you plant it in the ground, because the root will match how big the stalk is. So, yeah,
so that's what you learned? So you was learning that compounded soil can affect the plant?
Yeah, it can affect the plant a lot. If the soil is like super compounded, the plant won't go deep enough in the ground. And if it doesn't go deep in the ground, then it won't get tall at all, because like I said, the root will match how tall the stalk is. So if the root's like 3 feet deep, then the stalk's gonna be 3 feet tall.
It's that we're not saying that's an exact science, but
it's usually like
if you can tell ratio. The root shows what the fruit, right? From the root ball at the bottom, it shows what's going on at the top, man. Quan been out here learning, man. And as you see, he likes holding his bud in his hand, waving around the car. I mean, literally, the car got steamy. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. I had to cut the air up. Are you using fertilizer? William, we use some natural fertilizer, so we use...
Pelican, no, it was that Peruvian seabird.
Yeah. That's what we used. Peruvian seabird guano, and then what else did we use at the beginning, you remember?
Oh, bat guano, right?
Yep, bat guano, and then what other one? You remember the fish? Fish and seaweed?
Fish and seaweed? Yeah, we use that too.
So we done use so many different kinds of... fertilizer. It says hydro versus earth grown, pros and cons. Oh man. So look, I'm not an expert. This is my first year actually growing. From my experience with it being earth grown, I think that hydro is a lot more easier to control. Like being indoors, growing it hydroponically is a lot easier to control some of the elements, because you got the climate that you can control. You can control how many fertilizers, the whole 9, right? But at the same time, you don't have the natural light, so hydro gonna cost you more money because you got to be running electricity, keep the lights on. Not necessarily. I guess you can run them in a greenhouse. How tall is it growing? Well, we got a cultivar that probably got us. Some of our plants, what? 3, 4 feet? Yeah.
Super high.
Yeah. Some of them are real tall. We grew from seed, so you're gonna have a whole bunch of different phenotypes. So some of them are pretty tall, but the phenotype we have, I think, grows about 4 feet, but it's more wide. It's a cherry variety, and the cherry varieties tend to be more bushy than they are tall.
Are you gonna patent the strand?
We don't know, man. We don't know. We got a long way to go. Patenting strands takes seasons to make sure you find the stability within the plant, right? So we don't know. We don't know for sure.
It says, how can you become a processor?
It depends on what state you in. In Kentucky, you have to get a handler's license. And depending on what you're trying to process, whether it's fiber or the hurd or floral material, there's a certain fee attached. So fiber hurd is $500 a piece. Floral material is $3,000 to get your floral material processor's license. And then you can process. In some states like Tennessee, they don't have a processor's license. So if you live in Tennessee, you can get going.
But somebody says, is that medical grade?
Is this medical grade?
That right there.
What does medical grade mean, right? I mean, we don't know what the test if the test has come back yet, but it's so, I mean, this thing is so terpy and it has so many trichomes. I can't wait to get the test back to see what it is. So what do you mean, what do you, somebody said say yes.
Say yes, yes, it is.
Look, man, I'm not going to make bad claims, right? Yeah. I'm not going to make no facetious claims just because, yeah, we're not trying to do that at all. I just need to know what you think medical grade means, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for everybody watching this, this is not wacky tobacco, as some people will say. This is not marijuana. This is hemp. Y'all see that? That's our license to be able to ride around with this in the car. I'm actually having to need it so that I can mail this off to a tester so they can find out how much our compound percentages are in this plant. So here's the thing. Yes, we've already got the soil tested. That was before when we first did it. If you go back through my post on Big Mar, you'll see that we did a lot of things beforehand. We grew our sprouts. We actually planted seeds in trays and then grew those sprouts in what we call caterpillar tunnels. So that allowed us to, put out a whole bunch of plants and be able to get them pre-started before we put them directly to the ground. SunJoint is a conglomerate, or should I say a network of distributors, processors, and growers in the hemp industry. As a network, we are going to control a vertical within the hemp industry that allows us to go from seed all the way to sale, right? To this, and into other products. So if you're interested in joining along with us, go to the SunJoint Hemp group on Facebook. That's growing pretty rapidly. Hey, she can't jump in. Miss Vanessa, we're gonna have to do this again. Miss Vanessa Braxton, the owner of Black Mama Teas and Cafes, she will be basically selling some of the SunJoint end product out of her stores, out of her cafes. Black Mama Teas and Cafe is basically the Starbucks of tea, but even more than that, it is a distribution point for products that are made and created by people who are all part of the same network. So it becomes a distribution outlet for that.
It's delicious too. I've had some.
As a matter of fact, Miss Vanessa Braxton just signed her first franchise. She just got it cleared. Approximate startup cost for the farm. These are good questions. NARDA is awesome. I hope I'm saying it right. It depends. So a lot of the costs are going to be in your property. And one of the things we're doing at SunJoint is working with the farmers to try to bring that cost down so that they don't have to spend as much as they normally would on getting started. Propicals can go from $3, and what I mean by propicals transplants, they can go from $3 a transplant all the way up to $6 a transplant. And then on the seed side, they can go from $1 a seed. I mean, they can actually go from less than that to $1 a seed.
It's 5 something in the morning. Oh yeah, people live all across the nation, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be early for some of y'all, but that's how early we gotta get up to start this work, Right. The day starts early, the nights end late.
What I tell you, Quan, when we at the crib?
When I hit the float, we hit the dough.
When I hit the flow, we hit the dough. Even if he ain't all the way awoke, you gotta hit the dough.
Gotta hit the dough.
When I hit the bottom step, he gotta be ready to step out of the house.
Ooh, hit the bottom step, get ready for the prep.
Oh, bars, Quan. Listen, so your startup costs for an acre, you're probably paying between $2,000 and $2,500 plants per acre. So at $3 a plant, you're looking at $6,000 to $7,500 just for the propagals. After that, you got, if you're gonna run irrigation, in many places you're gonna have to run irrigation. You'll probably use some form of drip irrigation. But 1 acre, some people might wanna water that by hand, right? But usually drip irrigation will run you about $1,000 per acre. So right now, if you're talking about a 1 acre farm, where our costs are already $7,000 to $8,500. Now, after that, you might need a tractor. You could do it on an acre. You could probably do a lot of this stuff by hand. So you may not need a tractor. You might have to get out there and plow, but you have to do ground prep. So you might have to rent a tractor or find somebody near you that can help you prepare the ground, because you need to make sure that the ground is prepped. Especially in the South, a lot of the soil in the South is of a clay nature or has clay in it. So it tends to be a little bit harder. You want it to be more sandy, more loose, because the hemp plant, once it gets its taproot set, it begins to grow its roots off of that tap, right? And what happens is you want it to be able to spread as wide as it possibly can and as deep as it possibly can, because that is what determines pretty much what's at the top. You can pretty much, like as below is above, like Cassius said, you can pretty much look at the plant and tell, you know, what the root structure looks at by looking at the top of it. And so you need to have very soft soil. You know what I'm saying? So that soil prep and all of that is very important. So the cost depends on if you're gonna buy your own tractor, get your own rotary tiller, your own disc, your own what else? What is the word? Oh, your own plow, your own tiller. Like all of that stuff is going to determine cost depending on where you are. The hope with SunJoint is that we raise enough money that we can help, not give nobody nothing, because we can't just give the stuff away to everybody, but have equipment that everyone in the network can use, right? To help all the people be able to overcome some of those costs. So if you want to go out and farm 1 or 2 acres on your old family plot, you can do that. So those are going to be some of the costs. So right now, as you can see, we already sitting at probably $10,000. The way I look at it, because you also going to need labor. If you're not going to be out there working, somebody got to work. Because I mean, it is labor intensive, especially when you're trying to make sure stuff stays natural. In other words, organic, right? I can't use organic, you know, but natural, where we grow everything naturally. Because you don't want to put any chemicals on it, because if somebody's gonna be smoking this or putting this in the oil, you don't want pesticides and heavy metals, right? So you don't want to use a lot of synthetic stuff that other people are gonna put in their body. We try to do this as naturally as possible, which also requires more labor. The more natural you are, the more labor is going to require. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure that you understand that from that perspective. So the cost, like I said, it's $10,000 to $15,000 an acre. Starting out, and those costs come down as you move up in acres, because of course if somebody lets you rent their tractor, you're gonna knock both of the fields out and still pay the same price, right, if you get another acre. So those costs start coming down. Now, as far as the tropicals go, people give you deals based on you buying more of the tropicals. They'll give you deals based on that, so that works as well. So hopefully that helps you with the cost. Now, from a fiber processing perspective, I have seen fiber processing machines for around $5,000. And I'm going to tell you right now, not many people, number one, are growing for fiber, and not many people are processing fiber. Nope. There's one large processor in the whole United States called Sunstrand. They're out of Louisville, Kentucky. And they process fiber and the herd, but that's pretty much the only ones I know of right now. So if you got into the fiber processing side of things, you probably would do pretty well. All right, y'all, I got to go. I'm sitting over here in this parking lot.
Yep. Ah, man.
Later.
That was a good live. See y'all.
See y'all. Live, love, love life. We out of here. That's a good song right here, boy. I know a place that we can go outside and